Welcome to California State Prison, Sacramento, also known as New Folsom. New Folsom is one of the oldest maximum security level 4 180 design prisons in the state. And if I had to put my money on it, I would bet more murders have occurred in New Folsom than any other level 4 180 design yard in California's history. An inmate at California State Prison, Sacramento died Wednesday after 2 inmates, one of whom was convicted of murdering an inmate 5 years earlier at the same facility, wielded weapons during an attack that stopped after prison guards sprayed chemical agents, according to the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation. The 2 inmates began attacking Mario Campbell, a man serving a life sentence for sexually assaulting a victim, burglary, and robbery for an incident that occurred about a decade ago in Sacramento County. Prison guards broke up the fight about 5:05 p.m. and took Campbell to receive treatment. He was pronounced dead at 6:27 p.m. This is Campbell, the victim, no longer living, killed on a prison yard, New Folsom. And here are the faces of the 2 men who allegedly killed Campbell. At 5:05, allegedly they started attacking him on the main yard in New Folsom. Does he look familiar? Does anybody remember this guy? He caught a murder in the same facility, same institution 5 years ago. That's him on the right, and what he looked like on the last murder in New Folsom that he was alleged to have committed, which he already pled out on, found guilty on. His name is Taylor, 32 years old, and was received from Ventura County on May 8th, 2013, sentenced to 6 years, 4 months for second-degree robbery and possession of a controlled substance, and possession, manufacture of deadly weapon by prisoner, both second strike offenses. He was most recently sentenced by Sacramento County to life with the possibility of parole on May 22nd, 2020 for attempted first-degree murder and possession, manufacture of a deadly weapon by a prisoner, all third strike offenses. What's cracking there, buddy? Welcome back to the channel. New video. So this story, we're only getting started. It's a very confusing story to me. I've done a lot of time in New Folsom. I was on B facility in the 90s. I was on C facility in the 2000s. I was in the old Ad Sag. I was in the new Ad Sag. There's just a couple things that just don't sit right. But we're going to talk about it. That's what the video's for, right? So, allegedly, Taylor and Gomez killed this Campbell individual. And Campbell, you look at his charges, they've already put his charges out there. You look at his charges and you're like, oh, they killed him because he had sex crimes. Okay. But there's a twist, and we'll talk about that in a second. You know, Taylor is out of Ventura County, my area, the 805. And we already know, those of us that remember, those that don't. I did a video a few months ago about him and a murder that he pled guilty to committing with another fellow, right? And these guys were both PC gang members, protective custody inmates who killed another protective custody inmate. Allegedly during a PC gang war. I don't know. I don't care. But there's video of it. You can see the attack. It was a brutal attack. It was a prison attack. And recently, a new video has surfaced, and it shows Cody Taylor, after the first homicide in the same prison, talking with the authorities and saying that he should be praised for keeping his mouth shut, but in the video, he's not keeping his mouth shut. In the video, he's saying that CDC officials, that the COs allowed that murder to happen, the first one, that they were basically in cahoots, that they were okay with it. He said that a week prior to killing the other individual, that they did a dry run in day room. They came out of their cuffs, ran to the cell, did everything. Boom, it worked. Insinuating that the COs were right there watching and that they let it happen. I bring that up because, again, I've done a lot of time in New Folsom. I'm interested in how these three were on the main exercise yard at 5 p.m. I don't know if things have changed. I know a lot of things have changed, but I don't know if all of a sudden level 4 180 design prisons are having night yard. And even if they are, night yard doesn't begin at 5. We have count time at 4. Usually at 5, they're still feeding. Or around 5. Somewhere around 5, they're feeding. How did these two get on the main exercise yard with Campbell after 5 p.m.? How was that done? How? It's strange to me. And I just think back to the video where this dude, Taylor, brags about COs allowing him to do whatever he wants, and that everyone else is afraid of him and them, his group, because the cops are allowing them to do whatever they want. Another thing that just doesn't sit right, doesn't make sense to me. We're going to go back to Campbell, the one who was killed, had a sex offense. And when I first heard it, I was like, yeah, they smoked him because he was a sex offender. That happens all the time in there, especially on the SMY yards. I would be willing to bet there are more murders on SMY yards than anywhere in the state of California. And a lot of times it's sex offenders that are targeted. So again, when I originally heard it, I was like, oh yeah, they got them a chomo. They got them one of those guys that, had some bad charges, and they got rid of him. And then this happened. This guy, Gomez. He's got a monkey wrench for this story, man. Check him out. Gomez, 58, was received from Los Angeles County on April 14, 1998. Sentenced to life with a possibility of parole for resist, force of violence, or with force and first-degree burglary, and then some other stuff. How strange is that, right? Are you at a loss of words? Am I the only one? Weirdos being allowed to join groups and then targeting other weirdos. The world is upside down. I don't sympathize. I'm sorry. I don't sympathize for people with those. I have no sympathy for people with those type of charges. People who could even formulate in their brain that that's the type of crime, that's the type of thing to do. You know, when you saw Gomez's charges, he just picked up a life sentence for an attempted murder on somebody. So he's in there putting in work, and maybe, I don't know, maybe people are afraid of him. I don't know. And Cody Taylor, man. Taylor, this is his second body he picked up. He was sentenced to the CDC. He was sentenced to the California Department of Corrections for 6 years. Cody Taylor is a perfect example of all the things that can go wrong in the California Department of Corrections. This guy entered the CDC, and he was a Southerner, and somehow, some way, for some reason, couldn't do the program and went into the SMY. And when he went into the SMY, he became a monster. And it's strange because that's what they call him, monster. And he threw away any chance whatsoever to re-enter society, to learn from his 6-year term and become a productive member of society. No. He's going to hang around with a bunch of swinging dicks for the rest of his life. There will be a point. I know in his mind right now, he's a killer. He's a gangster. His reputation will precede him. Everywhere he goes, people say, hey, that's Salvato, he's got 2 bodies already. You did that. You earned that. And I feel some violence is going to come your way sooner or later. Because, see, Taylor has put the target on his back as he's that motherfucker. He's that guy. He's the one you don't mess with because he'll take your life. And so when somebody does have to engage with Taylor, it's going to be brutal. I don't know who wins. I don't know who loses. But sooner or later, the old lion loses his position to the young lion. I'm wondering if he knew about Gomez's charges. If he did, that says even more about him. If he didn't, expect another body soon. I tend to believe he knew, and his homies knew. Was this a senseless crime? No. Actually, it's just what happens in prison. If it was society, maybe, but because of Campbell's charges, I don't think there's anyone really that sympathizes with that type of lifestyle, that type of crime. But there you have it. Another hot one in the California Department of Corrections. I'll be interested to learn how at 5, maybe Hector Bravo will know. Maybe he'll be able to find out how were these 3 on the main yard at 5 o'clock. The only way I could see is because of their S&Y designation. Maybe that yard is mixed and the active GP has the yard at a specific time, and then these S and Y dudes have yard at a specific time. I don't know. Somebody should look into it. And I know that Gunner is going to be doing a video today, same subject, different angle. So make sure you guys check him out. That's my video for today, man. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Everybody, please be safe, be smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them. I'm out of here.